Hello. I hope y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Are we live? Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? Feel like I haven't talked to y'all in so long. It's been so long. It's been took a minute, but we back with the jump off. I'm happy y'all here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm so happy that. Ooh, I'm thankful. I'm happy to be alive. I'm thankful that God is God, and that He doing what He doing in my life. Um, but yeah, I'm really just I'm really just happy to be here. Really just happy to be where I am. And I'm so thankful because look at what God does. So today we are in the process of a lot of changes. You know who I am. You know why we're here. We're talking about divinity. We're talking about what we need to do to heal. I'm happy y'all here. And it's an interesting time for everybody. But now it's the time for us to be educating ourselves. We need to be educating ourselves. We need to be striving to elevate. We need to be trying to come up. Not trying to just get $10,000 by tomorrow, but like we really need to be trying to come up in our thinking. And quite honestly, I've seen enough sex. I've seen enough sex. I've seen enough non-black people dancing to black songs that use the N-word in them. Quite literally, it's sensory overload, and it's funny because what are we focusing on? I'm not saying that you can't live. I'm not saying you can't vibe. I'm not saying you can't vibe and have fun and stuff like that on TikTok and all of that. But I'm gonna tell you, me personally, y'all, child, I want to zip it up. I'm gonna zip it up. Hold on, cause we trying to. Yeah, how y'all doing today? I feel amazing. Um, but as I was saying, we need to be striving to come up in our thinking. It's not to say that you have to pursue or further your education, but we are at some critical points. Shout out to everybody pursuing a degree, an education, a certification, um, whatever it is. Shout out to you, because if you are trying to do stuff in particular to advance, that's cool. Um, but it's a matter of mental elevation. It's a matter of knowledge base, foundation, like I was gonna say foundational research. Um, we have we got to start coming up. It's a lot of focus on money. It's a lot of focus on tangibles, but we not really focused. And I think in coming up in our thinking, we just need to think higher. We need to be striving for more. You can go after further. You can, but you don't have to. You ain't gonna get all your knowledge from being in school, and a lot of school is people cheating in school. But to come up in your thinking, we gotta get a handle and an understanding of who God is and what our relationship entails. I think we need to expand our thinking in terms of what you believe is possible. What do you believe God can do in your life? What do you think the universe can do for you? Do you believe in yourself enough to do something? Or are you depriving us all of your greatness and your divinity? I think people don't understand like the ripples of decisions. Your position and what you do and what you've been called to do is very specific and in alignment and has something to do and is interconnected with people around you and people in the world. Because if you don't show up as yourself, who are you showing up as? And if you're not showing up as yourself, we're not getting the you that we deserve. It's not to say you got to give out everything. and expose your inner child to everybody. But it is to say, like, man, I kind of get lost in thought sometimes. I think we have to better understand who we are, where are we going. Like, there's a lot of mental figuring out we need to do. So elevating our thinking allows you to elevate every other way. Because everything starts in the thoughts you think. And I keep saying people need to get a handle on their thoughts, but like sincerely, because now we going deeper into getting a handle on thoughts. We got to start really like figuring out. We have to just really start asking ourselves the right questions. I feel like I say the same thing, but when I talk about a relationship with God, I think that so many things, because so many people with their own relationships and definitions of who, what, whatever, like God is. But I don't think you can get nowhere. You can't really you can't achieve anything if you don't have an understanding of who God is. A lot of people are misinformed, and a lot of people are in this, they operate from this place of religious fear, religious, like, it's just a lot of confusion going on. And I think the confusion is because people don't have a real understanding of the God they serve and the God within them, their own divinity. You thinking that everything divine is outside of you. You are composed of things that cannot even be conceived or perceived under a microscope. You got to look real tough, and you can't even begin. Your mind does not have the bandwidth or capacity to even begin to understand what the universe and what stuff really is. You are too finite. And I feel like people are kind of disconnected from themselves. It's like, having an understanding of who God is enables you to operate. Like, you can't possibly think. You don't have all the answers. You just don't. And apart from getting an education, apart from that, when I talk about a relationship with God, I mean the relationships you have with yourself. The relationship we have with ourselves is really the most important thing. And I feel like, I keep coming back to like the non-comparison thing. I think people look at other people's accomplishments and they hold themselves up to that standard, or they just feel like it's people gotta strengthen their belief in themselves. They gotta come into a better understanding of who God is and what is possible for them. People are really small minded in terms of what they can do or what's possible for them. People spend a lot of time comparing and judging and overanalyzing and critiquing and zeroing in on and overanalyzing and thinking and critical thinking and obsessing and stressing and being locked into everything else but ourselves. Do you really think that that's God's or God designed or the universe designed and until when you were thought up, when you created from wherever you came from? Your life is not meant to be figuring out how you fit into everybody's life. That's not how this works. That's why comparison is just not necessary. And that's why, man, we got to just come into a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us. People got to believe for more. You got to believe for more. Like, you can't, you got to believe it. I could believe in you. I could tell you what to do. But if you don't actually mentally take steps and really, we gotta start believing in ourselves for more. Because looking around and thinking that everything and everybody outside of you is up here, and you don't even consider yourself in the game. We could be doing a lot more. We could be accomplishing a lot more. But I really think it's coming to a point, and we bypassed the point. We are not tuned into the frequency at which we should be. And it's not to say you're supposed to be high and mighty and all of that, but there's more brain capacity. Like, you have more access to your brain than you may ever realize. People talk about what's possible in brain capacity and all of that, but the thing is, when people talk about your brain and how it works, they used to think that in psychology, they thought that, and this was years ago, the thought was that having evolved and all of that, researchers thought that our capacity to our brain capacity that we actually could access, our accessible brain capacity, and what our brain could do, and what we can, train our brains to do, out of the 100, it was, I guess, thought that it was only 6 to 8% that it was possible for us to access. But further research shows that if that were true, and we only had access to 6 to 8% of our brains, that would only cover basic neurological functions. So in essence, that's impossible. And literally, to me, even without those statistics, that makes no logical sense to me. If your brain is a storehouse of information, it's your processing, it's where everything emanates, it's where everything comes from. If we live in a universe that can literally, the universe only says yes. Do you really think that the universe only gave you 6 to 8% capacity to operate, to function, to move, to breathe, to express your creativity? I don't believe that's how it works. And scientists and studies that show those are oftentimes outdated. That's why peer-reviewed studies and ethical, all of that stuff, that's why that stuff comes into play. But the thing is, it's like research can show a lot of stuff. But when we talk about like our actual capacity, we talk about what we're capable of. Do you really think God only gave you the ability to access 6 to 8% of your brain capacity in totality? That would go against the grain, I feel like, of what God even really designed. That's kind of crazy. 6 to 8% out of 100%, you only being able to access 6 to 8% of your brain. Those are basic neurological functionings at best. So you literally, and some people have issues with that. But when you even think, take that 6 to 8% out. Cabez eyes, like, really think, do you really think that God only gave you that little? Do you think that the universe could be so vast and so inconceivably out of the realm of what we could ever potentially on some level conceive? It is just too big for us. And I think because people think small and there's a lot of judgment and comparison going on, you not accessing enough parts. You not accessing the necessary neurons to fire because you are intently focused on everything external. You can do a lot more gratitude. You could do a lot better with your time if you stop looking outward. And that's the thing. Like, people always you don't want their life. You don't want what they got. And you don't need to be jealous or envious of anybody because God gives you so much more than you realize. Where do you think greatness comes from? Where do you think that comes from? Like, and how much greatness do you think is possibly possible? When I say think bigger, you got to think, man, I think some people just don't really, those aren't things that some people consider. Everybody is not sitting up wondering how big the universe is. Some people are just being, and that's cool. But for the majority, and to come out, you got to think bigger. I just sent out something to a few people like, you have to dream bigger. You have to disconnect from society and societal thinking and all the things that you have been trained to think. You got to realize what you've been trained to think, but you have to learn to turn it off and turn it on. You are never going to be in harmony or in sync or in alignment if everything you do is based on what you see. If everything you do, you comparing yourself, you putting people on pedestals, and you're not even considering your own thoughts, your own ideas. I don't like that. And it's crazy because people have said to me, oh my God, I would love to do a podcast. I can't do that. Why would you? Not why. Anybody ever asked me why. But people, I have always told people and tried to get people to see, you're not looking at nobody else. You literally could just tap in with you. However, people think so small of God. They think small of the universe that God put them in. They think small about the literal essence of who they are based on what God put in them, what you were designed to do. This is why it is unbelievably inaccurate for I think anybody to assume that is only a small percentage of your brain capacity that you can access or that is accessible. That is not true. There are no limitations according to the universe. How could there be? The universe is always conspiring in your favor. It's like when you want what you want real bad and you get it. It's like when you cry and beg and operate from a place of lack and deficiency that you don't receive. Do you see how it works? You have to expect more. You have to believe for more. Do you really believe in yourself? Do you believe that you have? What do you believe about yourself? You have more than you are realizing. You have more in you in terms of stored potential, in terms of potential energy, kinetic energy, all the things that you can possibly potentially do in this lifetime and in this realm of quantum physics and all these things. You can literally do anything. And when I say anything, anything, you just have to be aware. You have to have the belief. You have to believe that God did not just put you here to wake up, go to bed, take care of people, be a safe space. You're not here to be of service to every single person around you. You here to be on your business. You here to be who God calls you to be. You here to be, and you are here to figure out and get into a place of alignment. It's not it's not having everything figured out. It's not being 100% happy. But what do you want your life to look like? And how much do you think that you can actually do? Do you only believe that you have a small amount of access to the wealth and things to the universe? Do you actually believe in yourself, or do you believe in everybody else but yourself? We got to stop that, because it breeds unnecessary. It's like it's so much unnecessary stuff that come out of people just not looking inward and analyzing. Okay, who am I? What am I storing? What am I holding on to? What can I change? What can I evolve beyond? We got to come up in our thinking. The only way that you can only access a certain percentage or amount of your brain is if you don't demand, if you don't pull it up, if you don't pull more out, pull it out of yourself. Your brain is your greatest enemy, but it is your biggest asset. And it's always going to be like that. That's why the subconscious mind, the warehouse, the storehouse of information and memories that cannot be uprooted, that you refuse to let go of, that you refuse to channel into, it's not going nowhere just because you want to address it. It's not going to slide to the side just because you don't want to give energy to it. We have to really start coming to terms and figuring out what is it that you want. What is it that you want out of life? In order to understand that, you have to be able to believe for that. We got to work on our patterns, our habits, our ways of speaking to ourselves, the things that we take in, the things that we watch, the people that we support, and the people that we might be jealous of. We need to start coming to grip. We need to get a grip on God, get a grip on ourselves. There are things that can add to happiness externally, but internally, intrinsically, that's going to have to be your business. But to me, I feel, I feel that God wants everything for us. The universe literally wants us the universe wants everything for us. But we think so small, and we think that we don't understand like our own divinity. I keep talking about this. You have so much inside of you. You never have to ask anybody for advice. But this is why being in divine alignment and really, I would say seeking God, I would say praying, I would say therapy, therapizing, it's things that you can do to get yourself in alignment. It's things that you can do to access more. You have access. You have resources. You have tools. You know how I know? Because they didn't just give them to Erykah Badu. They didn't just give them to the Alchemist. They ain't just give them to Big Cat. They ain't just give them to the Hoochie God. They didn't just give them to Aerospace. They didn't just give them. And these are people, very top tier people. You have your own. You have your own. You genuinely have your own. You have everything that you need within yourself, literally. And I know because we envy and look outward and we look at everybody else without realizing that what we are admiring in them, we might be more able to. You know what I'm saying? You admire everything in everybody else. Well, where do you leave space for you? Or do you think that you're gonna give and give and give and give and you gonna have it, or somebody's just gonna automatically give it to you? You letting people just take from you. You letting people just. I think you're taking from yourself. Like looking external and always wondering what's going on with everybody else and how you can please and appease everybody. Woo! I've had enough. And if I continue to live my life trying to make everybody happy, I'm not gonna have much life to live. And I think when people realize and understand, you ain't got to do nothing. I understand obligatory things that are necessary for survival, necessities. That's cool. However, your life, I don't think you were created and brought into this realm so that you can be in a box or confined religiously, in spiritual bondage, emotional confusion, like not being clear, chakras being fried. We got to come up because God don't want you to suffer. The universe does not want you to be down bad. People might want you to be down bad, but you ain't got to look at them. You can focus on yourself, who you are in God's eyes. Who do you really like? What do you believe God feels about you? What do you believe that you are comprised of? What seeds do you have? What do you love? What did God give you already? What do you believe about yourself? What do you want for yourself? We have to come up in our thinking. We got to come up in our thinking. We got to believe for more. If you believe more for you, you're not going to have time to be obsessed and worried and comparing your dream to somebody else's whatever. You're comparing your reality to somebody else's image, their imagery, what they personify. You have no idea what people deal with. You have no idea what people deal with. And a lot of it, I don't want to say people, I know they're angels, they're demons. I don't really always like to say though that the enemy is this. I feel like sometimes it's just an energy imbalance. Constantly focusing on people that have nothing to do with you, that are no longer a part of your reality because your past does not exist and your future has not exist. It hasn't happened yet. So you're only living in this current reality. But a lot of what you think about and worry about and overanalyze and ruminate and talk about and critique and judge yourself and worry and think and go back and go forward. Get out of neutral. You stuck. We need to come up, not down. The universe is not designed for you to be on a downward slope. This is why it's so important not to look at nobody else. This is why it's so important to work on yourself. You worried about everybody else but you. Worry about you. Worry about what you like. What makes you happy? I think when I talk about coming up, thinking like it's believe for more. Believe that it is possible for you. Speak words that affirm where you're going. Speak words that give life. Speak words of life into your life. If you ain't nothing to say, if you don't have something positive to say, try not to speak. Try not to do too much. And I am also having to work and remind myself, hey, it's not only not about you, but you're not necessarily right. And there are other perspectives, or at least another perspective to consider. I think people got to come up in their thinking as far as really rationalize and understand you're not always right. You're not. And that's cool because nobody is right 100% of the time. When I talk about coming up in our thinking, you have to accept, you have to be able to accept critiques. You have to be able to accept somebody saying something to you. And I just apologize when I have moments of when I'm having to look at myself and think or reel it in. We got to start doing some real reflective work. I don't think people realize how they're showing up in the world because they aren't aware. It's like I said, your brain, your biggest enemy, your greatest asset. It will always be that way. It'll always be that way. And the brain is your body gonna do whatever your brain tell it. You gonna live out whatever your brain is storing up. And a lot of times, maybe it could be. It's like the more you store up those feelings, the more you gonna feel them outwardly, and the more it's gonna take over your life. You don't have to compare yourself to nobody because you was created on the same type of as them. And if we are so busy looking up to people and so busy worrying about people and so busy asking people what they think and how to do this and what to do, that's not living. It's not considering really you. This is why therapy is important. This is why God is important. This is why religion has its place. Everything has its place. Something was created for some reason because it does something to help somebody. So even if you don't agree or align with the spiritual aspect, with a religious perspective, that don't mean that it's not valid. It don't mean that it does not apply to different people and from different places. We got to not be judgy. We have to come up in how we think. And we have to be considerate of the opinions of others. And recognize and understand everything is not only about you, not about you, but it's a lot of times I feel I have benefited from stopping after a conversation. Like I've realized mid conversation, okay, girl, you can stop talking now. Even if you are trying to kick against what you know, which is to chill because you don't have the answers because you're not right. It's this level. It's okay to not know because that's how you learn. You gain knowledge. That's how you evolve. That's how you become. It's this level of openness we all have to, I feel like, tap into. It's this level of consideration of ourselves. People are not your priority. Obligatory things, whatever. But baseline, universal design, it is not intended for you to just be about other people. This is why it's important to make sure you know the companies you keep and be cognizant and aware of who does and does not serve you or who does and does not pour into what is the betterment of your mental health. Your mental health is your obligation. It is your responsibility, it's your duty, and it's lifetime, and nobody else is in charge or has anything to do with that getting better. The decline, the betterment, it all has to do with you. So don't expect nothing that you're not doing for you. Don't expect to get love if you're not being loved. Don't expect to get money if you irresponsible with money. Don't expect what you are not taking. Do for you. Do for you. I think when we really start to look at what we giving energy to, who we giving it to, why we are giving it up, that will take up so much. And when you take energy away from anything, you put it into another place. When you take your energy off of that, you will have so much stored up. And that's the deeper you go into the storehouse and into the recesses of your mind, and you uproot and extract the ideas and the habits. Ideas are seeds that are implanted in your subconscious. They're planted in your mind, they go to your subconscious. However, they are within the confines of your subconscious mind. Things that are subconscious emanate and they bloom and they turn into physical, tangible reality. We have to get to what's going on subconsciously, because subconsciously, I can't tap into your subconscious. You got to tap into that. I can help. I can give you some tools, but we have to get to a place in understanding 100% of the time. You cannot blame everything external. You really can't blame too much external. A lot of stuff out of our hands. I'm not saying that we can't, that it ain't. I'm not saying that everything is our fault and that we are in control of everything. But I'll be very clear. A lot of it is going to be on you. Sorry. Hate to say it, because I have to learn and come to terms with that as well. But we have to, it's this level of love we got to give ourselves. And everybody's love is different. Everybody requires a different type of love. Everybody is looking for a different type of love. Everybody needs a different type of care and consideration, because everybody is in different spaces. Everybody requires different things. Everybody needs different things emotionally, cognitively, psychologically, mentally, spiritually. Everybody is so different. And the thing is, we have to get we have to get to the root of what's going on with us, not locking into the news, not getting up scrolling all day, not cognizant. Like, we are so focused on trends. What the heck? Because what the heck is going on around here? What's really going on? What do we care about? You can't focus on your relationship if all you doing is comparing your relationship to what somebody is saying about how to be in relationships. This is why I really am beyond the point of exhaustion and being completely over, and like, I'm not enticed, I'm not impressed. It does not excite me to see anything on these apps no more, because it is just a cesspool of lies and fallacies and thinly veiled allure that really is nothingness. It's not adding up to nothing. It's not efficacious. We're not getting to the root of nothing. We just are bypassing time, and we talking about stuff that we won't remember in 2 months, in 5 years, because it's not getting to the root of nothing, bro. Stuff is a distraction. Because if you're distracted, you're not gonna be able to get to the root of what's going on in your mind. You know the problem? People are not tuned in. You think because I got this on, do you think you need to compare yourself to what I'm doing? Do you think you know what I went through? You don't need to be worried about me in this coat. You don't need to be worried about this graduation cap. You need to be worried about what's going on with you. And when you really concern yourself and get to the root, okay, I have fears. Where did this come from? I feel a sense of inadequacy. Where did this come from? How did I become so associated with these emotions? Where does this hatred come from? You're not going to evolve past your emotions. You're not going to evolve past your traumas. You're going to stay in a place of lack, forever chasing. All you got to do is look within yourself. You can't get past the ideas. And literally, you can't get past ideas, and y'all can't get past ideas. We all need to be working on this stuff. All of us. And the reason that you see what you see for me is because I am trying to so much so educate myself. I have roughly 200 plus books in my office. I genuinely want people to start getting involved. Get your mind turned on. Turn off the sex. Turn off. Turn off. Turn on. I'm gonna need y'all to start turning it on. Because the more time we spend worrying about things that are causing and leading to cognitive decline, we are not going to evolve. We're not going to evolve past trends and shake and tell. I don't want to see no more boots on the ground dances. I don't want to see no kids that are used to make parents money. I'm really quite tired, and y'all should be tired too. I might make this a part 2. I don't even know what to call it. Maybe educated. Lecture. You don't have to look at nobody else but yourself. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to cry. You don't really have to question God for real. Somebody was telling me how it's really menacing and it's something very strange to be blaming God, to be stressing God out, to be blaming God for you and the things that you put yourself in, the situations that you didn't handle properly. It ain't always God that's doing stuff. We need to really get a handle on our relationship with God, and you have to come into an understanding and bypass the stuff that maybe you was taught. I think a lot of reasons that people are stuck, stagnant, and confused because the Bible has been chopped and screwed so many times over, but people have put so many spins on stuff, and a lot of times, I don't know, like they talk about knowing God. That was one of the first messages I remember hearing as a child, was knowing God for yourself. And you can get tossed to and fro in life, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, peer groups, sexually, all types of stuff. A lot of immorality, a lot of things transpire because people are not connected. They're not connected to themselves. They're not connected to their higher self. They're not connected subconsciously because they don't know what's going on. A barrage of information and ideas, and you not zeroed in on nothing. You got to filter out your thoughts like you pick your clothes. You got to know what you're going for. You got to know what you look. We have to really start to access more of our own divinity. You have access to your brain. You get to control. You get to decide. You get to take in more information. It's like they said. It's like being a slave. It's like back in slavery times when they knew that the one thing that you could not give a black person, you cannot expose the black person to information. You know why? Because when somebody gets something in their mind, their cabeza, they get that in their mind. Where do you think it's gonna go? You think somebody gonna rob me? Do you think somebody could rob me in order for me? Like you think God giving me this level of divinity and this divine clarity? You think that somebody could have came along and snatched my idea? Not only could you not do it, but let's be so serious. Let's be so serious. So stop looking at them. Stop asking God to give you what they got. Stop asking God to bless you in the way that they bless them. Because you know what? The tables that God prepared for me the tables that God has prepared for me, you might not ever see. You might not ever come to the rooms that I'm in. But you know what? You don't have to. Because God prepares your own tables. He gives you a place. Whether it's in the kingdom, here on earth, whatever it is. You don't have to look at them. You don't have to wonder or worry how much money they got. You don't have to worry about why their relationship is like that. Because I promise you, there's a lot of people that you see and that's fabricating and pump faking, and it's not real. It's fake. It's a fallacy. It don't be real. And we live at such an interesting time because we are so interconnected through technology and all of this stuff, but people are so disconnected spiritually, mentally, internally, individually, friendships, relationships. I feel like the Mr. Krabs meme. Sometimes we have to just we got to start pointing our attention in different directions. We got to start shifting, because what do you want life to be? You got to start shifting. We got to start coming up. I don't want to live in the space I was in 10 years ago. I don't want to talk about the stuff I was talking about 6 months ago. I don't even want to remember some of the stuff. I don't remember nothing. I want to be able to have taken out the lessons, and I want to be a better version of who I was last week, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. Why? Because we should be striving to ever evolve. You think God put you here to sit on your hands or sit in a corner like your mama used to do when you got in trouble? No. So to sit and only stored energy, not potential. There's a difference between kinetic and potential energy. Potential energy does not move. It is stored there, but it does not go anywhere. Potential energy versus kinetic energy, energy in motion. put your energy in motion. You don't have to understand the laws of gravity, the laws of thermodynamics, or the laws of the universe. Just because you don't understand them, don't make them fake, and it don't mean it ain't real. So whatever you put into the universe, I promise you, it is going to conspire to make sure you have just that. But more so, the universe gives in abundance. It does not, it don't fake, it don't lie, it don't steal. You steal, you are fake. It's you. It's you. Because the universe literally wants to be the universe. You, the God. What are we believing for? What do we even believe God for? Because it's beginning to piss me off. It's beginning to piss me off. Because a lot of the issues are just misplaced anger, mismanagement of emotions. The heck? Y'all too grown. And also you need to be training up your child in the way that they should go. It's like you need to be training up a child, but what if the village is retarded? What do you think it's gonna produce? I heard somebody say that in the video, and I literally have never been able to forget it. I want to tattoo it on my forehead. The reason it's important for some of us to go internal, all of us to go internal, because I promise you, what you are experiencing, what you are telling people, the conversations, the internal dialogue, the way you see yourself, all of that is going to impact you outside of your body, outside of you. Because you are a part. You are a part of the same universe. You just don't have the same projections as me. We just don't have shared necessarily experiences. But we are all in this time and in a place where we all can do anything we want. But imagine having everything, all the capability, all the potential, all the stuff, and never utilizing it, or always being glued in or tied into what somebody else has. God is not going to bless you off what I do. God ain't gonna bless you off the things that he told me to do, because that's my assignment. That's my alignment. That's my plan. That's what the universe wanted for me. So if you get in tune and figure out what the universe wants for you, you got to figure out what you want for yourself. And then the universe will conspire to make sure that you have what you are really in desire of and what you are putting yourself in the place of gratitude and alignment for. You can't be in alignment if you're angry. You can't be in alignment if every time you look up, you got a problem. Every time you look up, you compare yourself to somebody. You compare yourself to somebody who literally might be dealing with witchcraft. You compare yourself to somebody who might have a husband but 5 boyfriends. You compare yourself to everybody but the version of yourself that you want to change. I don't want to be like y'all. I don't want y'all to be like me. You know why? Because you can never be like me. You can never have what I have. God will never give you what he wanted me to have, because that's not how it works. I can't be Meg the Stallion. I can't do what she doing. I can't be Cardi. I can't be Andre 3000. And I dang sure can't be looking at them and wondering what it is that is special about them that I am deficient of. And you are claiming and speaking and believing yourself to be deficient if all you do is look external. If all you do is look at them and feel, they're so great, they're so this, but you look at yourself and you don't look at yourself. Y'all talk about shadow work. You need to be looking in the mirror. You ain't got to go into what shadows are. Like, you are a spirit. You need to look within yourself, because the spirit that you are, you need to figure out who that is. You need to get to the root of what's that. Get to the root of that. Forget a body count. Get to the root of what's going on in your mind. Your mind, your inner seeing. What do you see? What are y'all looking at? Are you looking at everybody else? Because I promise you, people don't really care about you. They might want your money. They might want your body. A lot of people just don't care, and they are looking to get whatever they can get from whoever they can get it from. Don't be trying to get what somebody else got, bro. Focus on you. Focus on what God gave you. And you got to be in tune and in connection and in communion and in community. You got to let God circulate your home. It's a lot of purity that needs, it's a lot of purification that needs to be had. You're not going to get to healing and being whole if you are bypassing the thoughts, the habits, the traumas, the PTSD, the depression you don't want to address, that thing is going to keep you captive, and it's going to hold you. It's going to hold you there because you're choosing. If you know what's in you, you know what's not. And if something you got to know just what you have within yourself. You have to know and understand that God didn't give you. He's not giving them what he calls you to have. It doesn't work like that. The universe doesn't put you in a position to where you have to be in spiritual or emotional or psychological competition, because what then would the universe be? What would it be? What would then it be? The universe is not trying to fight against you. It won't necessarily give you what you really desire, because if you are operating from a place of lack or deficiency, you are ever in pursuit. Your desire was something that the universe put inside you. The God put inside of you a seed. God put seeds. Seeds. Everything it is in a seed form. Everything that is planted, everything that grows and blossoms, it comes in a seed form. It's a lot of seeds that have been planted within our subconscious, within our minds, which you have your subconscious mind, your mind, and then you have your higher self, or what have you. We need to get to the root of what's going on at the bottom so we can work to the top and then become elevated in our thinking. And that is what it is to do subconscious. That's what it is to do work. That's what it is to work on yourself. That's what it is to really put work in and reps in. But if all you do is spend your time thinking that you are inadequate, thinking that you don't have, thinking that you can't do, so why is you riding so hard for somebody else? That's kind of silly, for real. That's kind of like, for what? You definitely don't ever look at me and think that you want what I got. Because not only can you not have it, but you can't wear my shoes. And you can't you can't stand up to what I have to stand up against, because God didn't give you my assignment and he didn't give you my level of strength. It don't work like that. You know why? Because he didn't give me yours. And we're not put here to try to figure out how to fit in. That's not what this is about. And that's what this podcast is not about. I don't need to fit in with anyone. I've always been a person that not only was I never able to fit in, but I never really vibed with a lot of people, for real. And a lot of people that are no longer a part of this orbit, people I can't even remember. Somewhere that is no longer in my subconscious, or that is now in the form of a nice lesson. I really don't think people really understand what they have within them and what their minds can do and just how far they can go. But you know what? Until people do, and until people really start looking at themselves and seeing what they see in others, everything is a reflection. Everything. I am a reflection of you. Whatever you see or don't see, or whatever it is that you can conceive, it has to do with your thinking, but you are projecting your thinking onto me. So that's why if you're looking at me and you thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to, in essence, that's your energy and you projecting that onto me. But the thing is, that's a projection. Therein lies a caveat, or whatever you want to call it. If you are looking at everybody else with this type of energy, animosity, or you projecting certain things, that's a reflection of you. That's you. And it's funny because when you nitpick and always have something to say, and you being a weird person, like, bro, you are that. That's exactly what you are. So whatever you projecting onto me, you are. If you think that I'm so this and I think I'm so much, okay, either you perceive yourself not to have it or you are bitter. I think I'm so this. Well, you must think that you are in a place of lack and deficiency. Perhaps you are. Mentally. Thought process. It's not about them. I don't care about what y'all got going on. I don't care what you got going on. I don't care what you got going on. You know why? Because God is not going to bless me off what I think about you. I don't care what you think. I care to be and walk in love and to be loved and to give love. You know why? Because that is the highest frequency, and that's the only thing that's gonna really fix what's going on. You need to get to learning and loving yourself. You loving everything outside of you, thinking that that's going to support and sustain you. Mental health fried, because you're not pouring into you. Kool-Aid is terrible if it ain't got no sugar. If you ain't got the right packets, it's like, what are you made up of? What brings you peace? What gives you clarity? Get in connection and in tune with God, because that's a lot of the problem. You ain't gonna know nothing if you don't have a real deal connection. And people say God is a woman, people say the universe. Listen, you got to get in mental alignment. And a lot of it's not what you do, it ain't what you have, it ain't about competition. You just gotta know who you are. You gotta know what's within yourself. And in knowing what's within yourself, what greatness do you possess? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think about yourself? Do you believe in yourself the way you believe in your favorite celebrity? Do you believe in yourself the way you put and where you pedalize and put people on pedestals? Do you consider yourself in that same way or even more so? Do you believe that I could accomplish and get a doctorate or some type of degree and that you are incapable of doing the same thing? You got to learn to get rid of that, because that breeds jealousy and envy. I would say it breeds contempt. It brings about emotions that you could bypass and never have to experience or deal with if you get to the root of what's going on with you. And I'm not saying this because I think that I'm not saying there's nothing other than the fact that we need to start doing the work. Because I promise there has to be some changes made. And those changes are going to start within you. Your heart, your spirit, your body, your mind, your psyche. What's going on with you? You can't do too much or expect too much if you are operating from a place of deficiency. That's why nobody is going to come in and do it for you. You're going to have to get up. You're going to have to make the moves. You're going to have to figure out and wonder why you function the way you function. My God, today, don't nobody know what they be doing sometimes. Everybody just be erratic and, like I said, misplaced emotions, misplaced anger, misplaced. Why is it misplaced? Because you ain't placing it where it's supposed to be. You ain't even considering. You know, like, we're not thinking enough of ourselves. We're not thinking enough about what makes us happy. What gives us life? What gives you life? Do you think you meant to live and die and just exist? You can't possibly think that that's all God wants for you. You can't possibly think that that is all you were here and created to do. Some people never get up and get past the point of imagination because they cannot get out their own way, and they are so unwilling to go internal and deep enough that they can uproot whatever it is so that they can have the life they want and live out their dreams and do the things that God put them here to do. But if you are so consumed by everything external and you are taking no accountability, no look, no deep dive, y'all can stop calling it all of these terms. Get to the bottom of what's going on. I don't care for the name shadow work, mirror work. Y'all call names to everything that is not the reality just to give it a label. Don't nobody care. I don't care. I don't care about that. I care about us figuring out where the love is. And if you get to what's going on in your mind, you can figure out where the love is. You can figure out how to give it to somebody once you've given it to you. But you cannot. I said this before. Don't let people just take from you and give. You give everything all the time, and then you get pissed off because you're not getting it back. Well, that's your fault because you're playing a stupid game and you're risking and getting a silly prize. Give to you. Love on you. Figure out what you need to do. If you want to get an education, if you want to advance, if you want to start doing whatever it is, you can do that. But you got to believe for it. And you got to love yourself enough to pursue it. You have to love yourself enough not to listen or bypass anybody's opinions. Because what somebody else can conceive about your life would be ridiculous for you to believe in that or for that to matter to you. People can't even get a grip on their own lives. Why? Does that matter? What they think? It doesn't. And I want you to remember that when you go into life and you start to really doubt yourself and you get up from listening to this, I want you to just remember nobody is thinking the thoughts you are. Nobody's thinking your thoughts. Nobody is here to live your reality. Nobody is here. You're not here to make nobody happy. You might have put yourself in the position and have things out of obligation that you have to do. I can't speak to that because that's individual basis. They ain't gonna do me. I feel though, as a person, I was not put here to just bear children. I wasn't put here to just work a job. I believe I was put here to live as the highest version and expression of my spirit. And that is beyond a higher level of higher level of consciousness. Like it's high. Like I believe I was put here to be who I'm being right now. And that's doing what I love and being around people I love and doing things that excite me. I don't have time for much else. And I think the more you make time for externals and exterior things and things that don't edify you, what do you expect? We gotta expect more. We gotta want more. You gotta really just stop looking at them people. Turn it off. Turn it off. It'll be there when you get back. Or you can turn it off and turn on something new. Turn them off, turn you on so you can get to the root and understanding of what it is that you are dealing with. Because it's not about manifestation. It's not always gifts. It ain't just gimme. Sometimes you need to sit. Sometimes you need to receive. It's a time for reaping. It's a time for harvesting. It's a time for growing. It's time for sowing. But you have to know where you are mentally so that you can even go about pursuing anything else. Don't nothing in the world matter if your mental health is fried. Nothing is going to be successful. You're never going to have peace. It's always going to be you're successful in this realm. But if you don't have peace in this realm, nothing else outside of that is going to sustain you. It just does not work like that. I am not sorry to say. You really want it to be intrinsic anyway. Like anything that's yours, like, why? It's like, people just don't, they just, you spend so much time doubting yourself and listening and comparing yourself, you lose sight of who you are. And that's all right. Because we all need to be redirected and we all need to recalibrate and figure out what it is that we're doing. We all need to get into it. Because we all living in the same, we all here together. And this is why I want this to be such a safe space. Because it ain't too many, I can only be reached at the place of love. I can't be reached. I don't understand and I can't operate from no place other than love. But I think with that, that's because I've learned to love myself. That's because I've learned to love myself so much that there is an overflow. I can give it out. You know why? Because I know who is going to bring it back. I know it's going to come back because I know I can operate from a place and give if I'm operating from a place of fullness. We got to figure out where we're operating from. And if it's comparison or the place of lack, you're always going to be deficient. You're always going to be in a place of lack. If you're looking for everything outside of you to validate or make up or help or make you, I want so much. But you have to want it too. I can't want it for you. I can't. You got to be able to, you just need a little bit of faith. You ain't even got to believe, you ain't even got to, you just need a little bit of faith. And somebody else got to send somebody who can make up the difference. And God will operate through them. But you just need a little bit. You just need a spark. And God can do a lot with a little bit. And I know people like to talk about all these things. But the reality is, you could talk about whatever it is. I don't care. Some things are just not godly. Some things, everybody has their own interpretation of whatever. My thing is, sometimes it's like, we got to just start being more open about that. Because I used to have a thing in me when I would sit down until God really humbled me, where I wouldn't necessarily want to say, God said this or God that, because it's like there's this pressure or this feeling of wanting to be liked or be not wanting to make people uncomfortable. But I'm not here for your comfort. And a lot of these podcasts and platforms are here to make people comfortable because they not doing nothing. I'm not here for your comfort. I don't care what you like. I don't care what you think. Because if this is therapy, I promise you, if you don't like the station, you could turn off your Roku TV, turn it on to Amazon Prime, and talk about something else. But here, in this realm, what we doing here, we are educating ourselves. We are coming up in our thinking. We are gaining wisdom, insight, intellect, improved vernaculars. We are genuinely going to come up. And it's so beyond. It's beyond me. Either you gonna come up or you gonna sit there and never evolve past the point of imagination. Your imagination is probably fried because you're not even going for nothing, imagining for anything. So let this be. This should bring a little bit of clarity. This should help, and I know it does because it helps me. So I want the best for everybody. I want everybody to win, but you gotta want to win yourself. And if you want to do anything, you have to believe first that you can. Because I believe in you. But do you? Yeah. So I appreciate y'all in another episode. Woo. We about to be out of the 20th. We about to be out of there. But no, thank y'all though. It's been fun. I've had a nice, interesting time as I continue to evolve and edit and crop and figure out what it is that I'm doing on this path. It's been fun. It's fun for real. It's been a learning curve. There's been so much that I've had to teach myself. But you know, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited, and I think God could do a lot with a little bit. So all you need is a little bit. You just need a little belief in yourself. You just need to be, just have a little bit of confidence and believe in God a little bit, and a lot can be made up in the difference in things He sends you and the people that He connects you with. But in what God does, just in God being God, like you just need to believe. And you need to be willing to breathe and put one foot in front of the next and feel it as if it's true. Because no matter what you think or what you might not understand about the universe, you're in it. And you are made up of the things that comprise the universe that you are in the midst of. So I want people to come in and thinking, and I want people to better realize and rationalize and understand that nobody is going to elevate you. God is not even going to elevate you. Nobody is going to come do that. Because you have to do it. You can get inspiration. But in order for you to move, you're going to have to move. It ain't on them. And I'm not saying people can't help, but I am saying at a base level, like to figure out where you are, to figure out how to evolve beyond what you've been taught, what you've been preached to, what you have been lectured about. People don't be knowing what they know. And they don't know what they don't know. So we got to stop listening to people, and we got to stop asking people, because to ask somebody and to listen to everybody else, I'm still working on this. To ask everybody and listen to everybody's opinions, you're opening yourself up to so much. This is why I don't really be asking too many people what they think. This is also why I'm working on how I respond to people when they tell me what they think. This is stuff that I very much put into play. I don't bring nothing to the table that I ain't already cooked and deep fried and had in the freezer. I'm always going to talk about something that I know. I'm always going to talk about something y'all need to hear. I'm always going to talk about something that is going to bless us all. And ultimately, all of us need to be figuring out how to be better individuals so that you can operate and be better in society and be a benefit and not lead to the demise of society. So I want y'all to come up in your thinking. I want you to start really realizing that God did not put you here just to exist. He put you here because he wants, and the universe wants for you to have and to do and to be. You just got to stop putting yourself and limiting yourself with these limiting beliefs and judgment and over critiquing and rumination. It's like, dang, a cluster of emotions and spiritual mental confusion because everybody is so we just need to get internal. Because it's not to say you can't consult with or get things. There's a life outside of yourself, but you need to get and zero in on the life you have and the thoughts you have. And that way, you can show up in the world and you can show up for yourself. But you got to get to the root of what's going on in your mind. Nothing in my mind is going to bless you unless I'm given something. But even still, that's not wholehearted. You know what I mean? Get to the root of what's going on with you. Don't worry about them. Don't worry about their money. Don't worry about what they did. Me, for example, you should never want to know, or you should never care. You should never want to know. You should be nowhere near concerned about how I got here, about how homegirl over there, or how, like, why do you care? You shouldn't. Because why does it matter? It doesn't. No. That's about it. I hope everybody is. Dang, I want the best for everybody. I think everybody is learning and evolving together. And I think I want to be a safe space because we need more of them. For the women, for the people that we call neurodivergent, for the people that we call non-binary. Because y'all got these labels and things like, y'all call people stuff. We are all spirit beings. So I don't really vibe and really get into like all of that. That's not my vibe. I care about people and the spirit behind people. And I think we need to start edifying and pouring into our spirits so we can be better spirits and operate better in society. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of my show. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank y'all for being here. Until next week.